Does this mean the MeToo movement has failed? In your response to Jayender Pandey, who is asking, he's a young student in college, he says there have been allegations but no evidences. Trisha Shetty, we've heard this argument made before in the past. Your response?
So, in terms of that, right, that is not a wholly correct statement. First, there has been evidence by multiple of these women. The reason why MeToo was powerful is not because when these women were subject to sexual harassment at the workplace, they did not speak up. It's the fact that they spoke up, and the workplace that was legally liable to protect them, not just within the workplace, but also go to the police station. That is one of the provisions under POSH, where once you are aware that someone who you were legally supposed to make sure that they have access to a safe working environment has been allegedly subject to sexual violence, you are supposed to launch an internal investigation. But if the allegation is also of criminal nature, which is if it is defined as a crime under the IPC, you are also supposed to help the survivor by going to the police station and assisting them through the criminal process as well. Right? So these women, time and again, we know from Tanushree Datta onwards, did seek legal recourse, did go to redressal agencies. What happened is they were systematically shut down, they were intimidated, they were harassed. So when we speak of evidence, what evidence do you want? Do you want women to put cameras on their heads at all times? The unfortunate reality is, as an Indian society, the only evidence people seem to be happy with is a woman's dead body. And even then, they want to know just how brutally she was assaulted or raped, to then perhaps think maybe she's worthy of justice. Right? When it comes to MeToo failing, let's talk about who failed MeToo. It's the same men in positions of power and privilege that protected these sexual assaulters and predators that continue to fail the movement. It's not surprising that a show run by a man with a criminal record as the host is now protecting another man who has serious sexual assault allegations against him. What are the repercussions that the survivors face, right? An advocate very eloquently spoke about that before, the colleague here. They, one, have faced social repercussions of social stigmatization, social trauma, ridiculous things like why didn't you slap them? Strong women don't have MeToo stories. Strong women slap their accusers right away. Victim blaming, shaming. They have faced economic loss, financial loss. They got ostracized from the industry. They have suffered loss of income. On top of that, when they did the right thing and went and reported, they were systematically shut down by the system set up in place to give them access to justice and deprived of that too. And when they're coming in solidarity saying, hey, this happened to me too, and demanding solidarity in numbers, we're still doubting them. The simplest thing would have been, when we speak about rehabilitation of these men, what have these men done to rehabilitate themselves? Have they accepted that they sexually harassed people? Have they once apologized? Have they once asked the survivors, what can we do to rectify this? Have they faced any sort of economic repercussions? No. And yet you see men, I'm sorry, it disturbs me greatly that the young men on this panel who are asking questions don't seem to ask questions of men within their own system, right? Who are these harassers? They are harassers within our system, within our friend circle. You have no problem questioning a woman and her integrity when she dares to speak up to demand for justice. But you will not question the men within your own circle, right? And hold them accountable to higher standards. As survivors, we are supposed to be held to higher standards and be the ideal victim. That is completely unjust. And Bigg Boss should be ashamed of itself. Salman Khan, I mean, maybe that man doesn't even deserve to be ashamed considering he can't hold himself to higher standards. But this is the culture we are feeding our younger generation.
This is the culture we're in, as Dilip pointed